Welcome to the Alcohol Reset, the podcast that helps you reset your habits, health, and relationship with alcohol without judgment or extremes. If you're looking to cut back, take a break, or just understand how drinking can affect your body and mind, you're in the right place. Each episode brings you science-backed insights on neuroscience, nutrition, and habit change to help you feel better, sleep deeper, and take control on your terms. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, best-selling author, neuroscience enthusiast, and habit change expert. I've helped thousands through my book and podcast to rethink their drinking, and now I'm here to help you do the same. Let's get started. Welcome to today's exploration. I'm Mike Hardenbrook, author of No Willpower Required and founder of Cloud9. Today we're looking at something incredibly relatable, something almost everyone has experienced but rarely thinks about. Picture this. It's just a normal Tuesday. You're walking through your living room, maybe a little distracted, maybe on your phone, maybe just on autopilot, and you lightly bump your leg into the coffee table. Not hard, just a small tap, the kind you barely even notice. You don't stop, you don't react, you don't even think about it. Now fast forward. Same scenario, same living room, same coffee table, same exact tap. But this time, it happens after a night out, after a few drinks. And the next morning you wake up, and there it is, a massive, dark, dramatic bruise. And your first thought is always the same. Wait, did I hit something way harder than I remember? Because it doesn't make sense. That kind of bruise should come from a real impact, something noticeable, something you would remember. But here's the reality. It wasn't the impact. The force didn't change. What changed was your body. Alcohol fundamentally alters how your body responds to even the smallest injury. It changes your blood vessels, it changes your clotting response, and it changes your baseline level of inflammation. So before blaming the furniture, you have to understand what a bruise actually is. At a basic level, a bruise is just a leak. Under your skin, you have tiny blood vessels called capillaries. When you bump into something, those vessels can get damaged, and when they do, blood leaks out into the surrounding tissue. Normally, your body handles this immediately. Platelets rush in, clotting begins, the leak gets sealed. Then over time, your body breaks down and clears that trapped blood. That's why bruises change color, purple, green, yellow. It's your body cleaning up. But alcohol changes that entire process. First, it causes something called vasodilation, which means your blood vessels widen. You've probably felt this before, that warmth, that flushed face, that slight redness in your skin when you drink. That's vasodilation happening in real time. Your vessels relax and expand. And here's the problem. When vessels are stretched out like that, they become more fragile, more vulnerable. That same light tap that normally wouldn't do anything is now enough to cause a rupture. It's like hitting something that's already under tension. The system is already primed. So the bruise starts easier. But that's only the beginning, because once that leak happens, your body is supposed to stop it quickly. And this is where alcohol creates the second problem. It interferes with your platelets. Platelets are your first responders. They're responsible for forming clots and sealing damage. But alcohol slows them down. They don't stick together as effectively. They don't respond as quickly. So instead of sealing the leak immediately, the bleeding continues longer than it should. More blood escapes, more spreads under the skin, and that's why the bruise becomes bigger, darker, more noticeable. And to make things worse, alcohol also acts as a mild blood thinner. So now you have wider vessels, slower clotting, and thinner blood, all happening at the same time, which is basically the perfect setup for a bruise to expand. And here's something most people don't realize. What do people usually do the next morning? They reach for something like ibuprofen or aspirin to deal with the headache. But those medications also affect clotting. So now you're stacking effects. Your system is already compromised, and then you add another layer that slows clotting even more, which means that bruise gets even worse. But size isn't the only thing that changes. Because if you've ever had one of these bruises, you know they don't just look worse, they feel worse. They're swollen, they're tender, they linger, and that comes down to inflammation. Alcohol increases inflammatory signaling in your body. So when that bruise forms, your body sends more inflammatory messengers to the area, which increases swelling, increases sensitivity and makes the whole thing look and feel more intense. But there's another layer most people completely miss. Healing doesn't just happen at the moment of impact, it happens overnight, and alcohol disrupts that process. When you drink, your sleep quality drops, even if you fall asleep quickly. You're not getting deep, restorative sleep. And that's the stage where your body releases growth hormone, which is critical for tissue repair. So now you have damage, but a system that's not repairing efficiently, which means the bruise lasts longer, fades slower, and looks worse for longer. So the bruise isn't just about the bump, it's about your body's reduced ability to recover. Now, in most cases, this is normal, but there are times when bruising becomes a signal. If you're getting frequent bruises, bruises with no clear cause, or bruises that are unusually large or painful, that's something to pay attention to because it can point to deeper issues, especially related to clotting or liver function. Your liver plays a major role in producing the proteins needed for blood clotting. So if your liver is under stress, your ability to stop bleeding is affected, even from small impacts. So the bruise becomes more than just cosmetic, it becomes a signal. Now, assuming it's occasional, the question becomes, how do you support your body? Because alcohol puts stress on multiple systems. Two key nutrients matter here. First is vitamin B1. It plays a major role in nerve function, circulation, and cellular energy, all of which are essential for tissue repair. But alcohol depletes it, so replenishing it helps your body recover more efficiently. The second is NAC. When your body processes alcohol, it creates oxidative stress. NAC helps support glutathione, which is your body's primary antioxidant. That helps reduce inflammation and supports recovery at a cellular level. These types of nutrients are included in formulas like Daily Restore. But it's important to be clear, this is support, not protection, not a free pass. Because when you zoom out, bruises aren't just about impact, they're a reflection of how your body handled that impact. Alcohol makes vessels more fragile, slows your ability to clot, increases inflammation, and delays repair. So next time you see a bruise like that, don't just think of it as clumsiness, think of it as feedback, a visible signal of what's happening internally. And it raises a bigger question. If alcohol can change your body's response to something this small, what else is it affecting that you can't see? Thanks for being here. I'll catch you in the next session. Take care of yourself. That's a wrap for today's episode. If you got something out of this, do me a quick favor, leave a rating and review on whatever podcast platform you're listening on. It helps keep the show going and would mean the world to me. Got ideas, comments, or questions? Shoot me an email at mike@trycloud9.com. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're looking for extra support, check out Cloud9, makers of Daily Restore, a once-a-day supplement to support your body from alcohol's effects, and Rise and Unwind AM/PM, a 24-hour combo to curb cravings, balance mood, and improve sleep when taking a break. Go to trycloud9.com and use the code PODCAST to save 15% on your next order. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.